Hello, welcome back. Part 2. Now, we talked about a lot of NBA. First part. Second part, we're talking about football. Now, we talked about the 49ers and Seahawks. Great game, sloppy game. We all came to a conclusion. Now, excuse me. Now, how does your playoff prediction change? Who was on the NFL podcast? I know Andrew wasn't, right?
No.
With Testdown? Okay.
So it was me and...
It was pretty much all of us but him.
Yeah.
So therefore, I want to hear your playoff prediction because we haven't heard it yet on the podcast.
All right, I'm looking at the board, cheating a little bit. I got the Seahawks coming out at number 1. Got the Saints coming out at 2. Niners coming out at 3. And then the Niners are going to be a wild card, I'm predicting.
You're okay.
Ooh.
I'm predicting the Niners to get a wild card, but would have won pretty much any other division. Then I got the Cowboys taking the NFC East. And then the other wild card... Actually, no, I didn't do the North yet. I should have prepared. So I got the Saints, the Packers, the Seahawks, and the Cowboys all winning their division.
Okay.
And then I got the Niners and the Vikings coming in at the wild card spots. Swap to AFC, got Pats. I got the Chiefs,
Ravens.
got the Ravens, and I got the Colts. I got
Okay.
the Texans at a wild card, and I got the Bills at a wild card.
Okay. So I think those 6 teams in the NFC are pretty much locked.
I was trying to
Year.
predict like what I was coming out of with from the beginning of the year. Not looking at now.
No, that's fine. But whatever you said, I'm not disagreeing with you on those 6 teams from the NFC or the AFC. Really, I'm just gonna disagree where they are. But we'll get into that later. So who's essentially going to the NFC Championship game and the AFC Championship game for you?
AFC Championship. I think it's gonna be the Patriots and the Ravens. I think that the Chiefs are gonna meet the Ravens, and the
Ravens.
Divisional.
then the divisional, and the Ravens are gonna come out on top in that, just purely based on both sides of the ball.
So the Texans beat the Colts in the wild card or no?
Texans beat the Colts in the wild card.
Do you think the Texans are going to beat them?
Yeah, but the Texans are gonna be the wild card team.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
you think the Texans are going to play the Patriots in Foxborough or the Colts?
The Colts are gonna. I'm kind of contradicting myself. I'm trying to figure this out here.
Because I'm saying though, because they got to play each other once again. The same thing as last year. The Texans beat the Colts in the regular season, but then when it came playoff time, the Colts beat the Texans.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why I was thinking the Colts are gonna beat the Texans again this year.
Okay, so you think it's going to be for your divisional round? It's going to be Ravens, Chiefs, Colts, and Pats.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then
you have the
Patriots
Pats
beating the Colts.
Okay. And then
And
the
the Ravens winning.
So who's winning the AFC Championship game?
I got the Ravens winning.
You say Ravens are your Super Bowl?
Ravens are my Super Bowl. It's not a lock. I'm not saying 100%, but that's what I'm envisioning coming out of this.
Okay, so NFC.
In the NFC wild card round, I got.
You have the Vikings and the 49ers in your wild card spot.
So then, Vikings playing the Cowboys, and then the Niners would be playing the Saints.
Right now, I don't know. It's tough because they're all a game apart.
I don't know. My divisional round is going to be.
So who's getting the bye for you? Who's getting the
bye? Is going to be the Seahawks. And probably. I don't know.
Because right
Seahawks
now,
and the Saints are where I would kind of put my money, but you never know. The Packers could win out or something crazy like that, but I just don't think the 49ers are going to keep their hot streak. I think they might lose another game or two. But my divisional round,
yeah,
the Cowboys getting knocked out, so it's going to be Niners, Seahawks, Saints, and either the Packers or the Vikings, to be honest. I'm not sure who's going to come out of that.
But you think the Saints are going to beat whoever? Right?
I think the Saints beat who comes out of there because they're going to be the higher rated seed. They're going to be
in the
home.
dome.
Going to be a home team in the dome. And
Mercedes-Benz dome.
Yeah, they're going to be in the Benz Dome. And Drew Brees there in the playoffs. Forget about it.
You can't hear anything in that dome.
Scary.
Yeah, but then...
So right now you have the Saints and Seahawks in your NFC Championship game?
No, I didn't pick a Niners-Seahawks game yet.
Well,
They play one more time.
Yeah, they play one more time, and then they're most likely going to meet in the playoffs.
I don't know. I got the Saints coming out of the NFC regardless.
Oh, okay. All right.
I got so Saints, Ravens. I think I think the Ravens end up coming out of that regardless of what Drew Brees can do. I don't think their defense is as good as the Ravens defense, and I just don't think that the Saints defense is equipped to stop Lamar.
So
and
you
those
have the
receivers.
Ravens, your Super Bowl?
Ravens are my Super Bowl winners, but
Right.
again, you can't count out the Patriots, so they might be in the Super Bowl.
I
And if they go to the Super Bowl and it's him and Drew Brees, so swap out the Patriots for the Ravens, I think Drew Brees has a good chance to win that because Drew Brees is one of the best defense dissecting quarterbacks that there is. So to pick apart a defense, it's him, it's Russell Wilson, and it's Brady that can play a defense and know what they're doing.
My thing is that if the Ravens have the same record as the Pats at the end of the season, they do own the tiebreaker. So we will be playing in Baltimore again
Which is
against
scary.
the Ravens. But like I've repeated myself before on this podcast, if you play Patriot, New England, and Foxborough, I don't think any team's going to beat us.
It's completely
so,
different.
It's going to be the Ravens. But I'm saying if the Patriots play away in the AFC Championship game, especially if it's the Ravens, looking at it right now, if they somehow play in Houston, I don't think it matters. But I think the one threat we do have, of course, this just happened, so I'm just reacting to what just happened. I think if we play in Baltimore, it's the only way we're not going to the Super Bowl.
I said it every single year. The Patriots are not good against a mobile quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Like thinking about the Ravens, like they had Joe Flacco. They didn't really have to
We
worry
still
about.
lost to him.
No, yeah, don't get me wrong, but you don't have to worry about him running loose for 100 yards a game. Like Lamar Jackson, you run the read option, it's guaranteed like 10, 15 yards. Just because you pick one person to tackle, you pick wrong. So it's regardless of how well they can execute, and if they do, they probably will. So it's just difficult.
They got that 3 Heisman backfield with Lamar,
They call that the
RG3.
Heisman
I
package.
think that the Pats now playing the team. Obviously, the offense that the Ravens do run, it's very different from any other
coming off a bye this
offense,
week,
yeah.
so
and just any offense that we've seen this season. And I just want to say something real quick. Yes, we don't really play teams that are the best teams, but you gotta give the Ravens
credit.
some
Yeah,
credit.
no one's discrediting them.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
talked
they're-
about this last time.
They're
when we were
7-2 right now.
Yeah.
They're a game back from number
But
one
I
seed in
think
the
now
AFC.
that we know what we're dealing with, if we do face them either at home or in Baltimore, it's still going to be a good game. But I think that now that we've, seen what Lamar can do, obviously there is film and you can see what he does. But obviously it's a lot different playing on the field. But we know what, the Ravens offense
And
is
you know,
working
Tom
within the
Brady
defense.
said the Patriots are gonna tune up,
Yeah.
whether that be offensively.
And he's not worried
or
about that loss either. He's just,
defensively. No, it's one of those situations where you got beat by essentially
A better team.
at
Very-
the time.
Mhm.
And of course, the one knock is Patriots haven't played any real comp.
yeah.
And the same thing with the 49ers. Hence why they both lost against real teams their respective weeks.
Which it was a better game for the Niners, but even though it was a sloppy game,
Yeah.
it's still close and better compared to the Patriots.
Oh, the
17.
Patriots just flat out
Yeah.
go into
Yeah.
that game and
I
after
just
watching
knew-
the first quarter.
I just knew Lamar Jackson was going to eat him up. I knew, we do have a good defense, but he's completely different than Russell Wilson and how he plays the game.
Alright. So you have the Ravens. So my next question is Lamar your MVP, or you think it's going to Wilson?
I think it's still going to Russell Wilson. I think that Lamar can carry that team farther based on the defense and based on how that offense works and Harbaugh being a great coach. Nothing against Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's a phenomenal coach, but he's a defensive-minded coach, and everybody kind of knows that. But
This year.
this year they don't have those the
Pieces.
Richard
Other than
Sherman, the
Bobby.
Earl
The
Thomas.
Legion of Boom.
Other than Bobby Wagner.
They're all gone except for Bobby Wagner, and their D line is. They played well last night, but
Javaon Clowney had, I think,
That was a
an
big
absolute
pickup for them.
game.
yeah, he's a freak.
I think that was one of his best games in his career.
They compared him to a 3-story building with legs, the way he chases people and gets after them. But back to the MVP talk. Russell Wilson is leading him in all major categories, but I just don't think Lamar can redeem that throughout the season. And if you're going to compare two quarterbacks and their value, you look at stats.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you take Russell Wilson off that team, they don't have the same amount of wins, but the same situation for
Many other teams.
Lamar Jackson. I mean, RG3 is his backup, but is RG3 really Lamar Jackson? No.
No, used to be.
Used to be, but he's not. So I still got Russell Wilson. It's a darn shame that Christian McCaffrey isn't really in that conversation,
Anymore.
considering that you can compare him to Adrian Peterson's MVP season
I think
and
Dalvin Cook is
LaDainian
more
Tomlinson's.
closer than the AP season.
Yeah, but
And of course, both being
if we're talking
Vikings,
about value
Christian
and
McCaffrey.
most valuable player,
I-
the most value out of any of those players that I just named, in my opinion, is Christian McCaffrey because he's playing with a backup quarterback who has not single-handedly blown a game out of the water. Christian McCaffrey does that for that team. That defense helps. But in value, you take three of those guys that I named, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, and Christian McCaffrey. I think Christian McCaffrey's team does not, maybe has 2 wins.
Where I disagree with the MVP talk is that I think if you take Russell Wilson away from an okay Pete Carroll defensive team, that team is nowhere.
Yeah, like I said, like you could replace those
It is
guys
a
with-
darn shame though that quarterbacks get it like every year now, and that kids like McCaffrey will never get it, or hopefully will get it once or twice because it's just a quarterback-driven league.
Anyway, Wilson for my MVP. My Super Bowl is Saints, Ravens.
Ravens.
Saints and Ravens, yeah.
Lamar, Super Bowl MVP.
If they win, they're gonna give it to him.
If whatever team wins, it's going to the quarterback. Honestly, Drew Brees is a phenomenal quarterback, Hall of Famer. Lamar Jackson is a great up-and-comer, possible MVP candidate. And if he doesn't win that MVP and he makes it to the Super Bowl, you better believe he's winning that Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, they're gonna give it to him regardless. But all right. So my thing is, I'm gonna look at the NFC East right now. Both teams are 5-4. If I'm the Cowboys, what the heck is going on? Like, of course, you lost to a Vikings team that is a great Vikings team. We watched them play the Chiefs. Devastating loss. They kind of.
Yeah, you say that, but then you look at them and they lost to the Jets.
No, I'm talking about the Vikings. The Vikings, even though they lost to the Chiefs, the Cowboys. Do you think they make the playoffs?
Cowboys?
I don't think the Eagles are given a much hot competition.
No. Yeah. So I think.
And they both got to play each other again.
Eagles have to play against.
So
they
I
both
think-
got to play against the Patriots. I think the best chance is the Eagles.
Because a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, Eagles. Carson Wentz is more likely to run than Dak
They
Prescott
did beat
really
us in the
is.
Super Bowl.
They
so.
did beat us in the Super Bowl. They have. I think the Eagles have a little bit of a more upper hand right now. Like I think the Eagles could beat the Cowboys one more time, and if they do beat the Patriots, I don't think
And
the
that
Cowboys
division's
will.
not getting a wild card spot.
Nope.
I feel as though whoever, so when the Cowboys and Eagles face each other again,
Mhm.
whoever wins that game, I believe will go into the
That's
playoffs.
usually the case, yeah.
Um,
Competitive
So
divisions.
I just think if you're the Cowboys right now, do you fire Jason Garrett? I've been on the record saying if you have a talented roster year after year and you finish under par, the first thing to do is fire a coach. And if that doesn't work, you get rid of a player.
You have one of the best running backs in the league.
Zeke.
You have a
Phenomenal quarterback.
No.
pretty good quarterback. He's
A producing quarterback.
There
He's
you go.
average. He's not going to blow any games
He's
for you,
But
but he's not
he
going to win
does,
any games
like,
for you.
the reason why there's a contract debate with him is that they're not going to draft another quarterback just to develop him into what could be. You know what I mean?
yeah. And
Well,
then-
they already have Dak.
You know
thing
what you
with
have
the
with
Eagles
Dak.
situation. Who was I talking to earlier about the Carson Wentz? It could be Testone. The only reason why they gave it to him was they gave him the money was they're not going to draft another quarterback.
But no, yeah, you got a good quarterback. He could produce what needs to get done. You have one of the best running backs in the league.
Mhm.
You
One
have
of the best offensive lines.
one of the best offensive lines.
When
Yeah,
healthy. When healthy.
When healthy, you have
A
a
good receiving core.
you have a pretty good receiving
good one
core.
now.
Better half. Better half.
Like a top-end receiving
And then you
core,
got
You got good corners and safeties.
yeah, you have a good secondary. The defensive line could be a little bit better, but
Right.
you still you got the pass that could be on lock, and then you have the offense that is on lock.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they're 5-4 for a reason. Too inconsistent, and that.
And
comes
they
down to
don't
coaching.
beat the teams that they should.
Yeah,
You spoke to the Jets. That was if you bet the Jets, you made a lot of money there
They're 2-7.
because they're not a great team. Sam Darnold doesn't jump off anybody's radars. Like he's
Nah.
not booming or anything. Le'Veon Bell can only do so much. That defense is okay aside from Jamal Adams, who's a phenomenal player. But the Cowboys just don't beat the teams that they should. It reminds me of what the Giants were back in like the 2010 to 2014 era. They just were supposed to beat teams
Underperforming.
and lose to them, but compete with the top end teams. It's just I don't think Garrett's going to get fired anytime soon. I think the only way he leaves is if he resigns. just because of his relationship with Jerry Jones.
Which is business.
But should you fire Garrett?
Like,
if I'm in Jerry Jones' position, I fire Jason Garrett.
Yes,
and I bring in.
I think it's a season too late. I would have fired him last year.
I think I fire him. Well, 2 seasons after they get Dak. So.
What do you think, B?
It's just I see 8-8, and it shouldn't be 8-8. This team is better than that.
Yeah.
On paper,
It's supposed to be America's team, but it's
That's been a debate for.
You think they're ending up at 8-8?
Yep.
You think they lose 4 more games?
Yeah.
They gotta play us again.
I know what I said.
So they gotta play you guys, the Eagles, the Patriots.
The Redskins and the Giants are pretty much wins right there. I'm gonna
They
give
lost
those.
to the Jets.
I
I
know how
don't
the
think they're
Giants
losing
play.
to the maybe
Maybe
to
they'll
the
beat
Giants.
the Redskins, but I said they also won.
Well,
3 more
they
games,
also
so.
have to play us at home. Like
So,
we're
say
home,
for example,
so-
they beat the Cowboy, they beat the Giants and Redskins. They're 7-4.
and then they lose to the Patriots, so 7-5.
7-5.
What else in the division do they have to play? They play the Dolphins yet?
Eagles?
I don't think they have.
No, but they play the Eagles again, and I think they're gonna lose.
So that's a competitive game.
Yeah,
I mean, if both of these teams end up at 8-8, I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah.
But it's
that's
all a matter of who has that tiebreaker.
And
Who
if
is
it's
it?
1-1, they go to points. I think, right? The NFL does at least.
I think it's a spread, yeah.
So, to be honest, whoever wins that division is getting bounced anyways.
Yeah, they're gonna get bounced in the first
They're going to be
round,
taken
but-
as a joke. I mean, they could make a run, but
I think they'll run into a brick wall once they hit anybody from the West or
I
the
think
South.
the team in the East that would make a run in the playoffs are the Eagles. Not the Cowboys. But if the Cowboys do make it out, the Eagles aren't making it. So, that's my thing. That's my thing for the East. Another thing is, we're going to go to the NFC West. The Rams, also 5-4.
Underwhelming. Gurley's been hurt.
I said this last year. Rams are gonna have one good season, and then it's just gonna
You
plateau.
think they win no shot?
I wouldn't say it's shut, but I mentioned this,
Closing.
and I've heard it before. It's the Super Bowl loser syndrome, or the Super Bowl loser fall off, or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the Super Bowl and you lose,
That bad.
that's like a gash. You just think, oh my God, we gotta fix something, and that's where you either make drastic moves or you say this team could be that good again, and
So
this
run it
team
back,
isn't
like
that
the
good
Raptors.
again.
Like the
Like,
Raptors. You know what
Yeah,
I
they
mean?
didn't make any crazy moves,
Until they lost LeBron like the 3rd or 4th time in a row.
and
They
then
made
they
a
were
drastic
like,
move,
we're getting
paid
something.
off.
And
So.
but anyway, they're just an underwhelming team with a quarterback that's been shined upon way too brightly. To me, I think he's similar to a Dak Prescott, where he's an average quarterback, not going to win you any games, but he's probably not going to cost you too many either. Like, his decision making isn't going to lose you too many games, but his decision making isn't going to blow you out of the water and get you 3 or 4 extra wins in a season, like a Tom Brady, like a Drew Brees, or
Yeah.
at this point Lamar.
I just think that right now the Rams are on the closing side. Sean McVay can only do so much, especially Keith Talib is on the record saying this morning on Colin Cowherd that Keith Talib's been coached by Bill Belichick and Sean McVay. He said Sean McVay is the exact opposite of Bill Belichick. You know, he's an offensive-minded coach, right?
Offensive and explosive instead
Yes.
of defensive and slow.
Yeah. So that comes into a part where you can slow down an offense,
Mm-hmm.
but if you have a great defense,
Great defense wins.
Yeah.
Sam, like the Jets and Patriots game, for example, Tom Brady didn't do that well, but they stopped every drive.
If your defense puts up points, I forget the exact statistic, but I saw this, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, but if your defense puts up points, more of the time than not, you end up either winning that game or losing by a possession.
Mhm.
So the gap in points, if your defense scores, is less than a possession at the end of the game, unless you're winning. So that if you like kind of think about that a little bit, if your defense gets that one fumble 6 or pick 6, your chances of winning that game go up incredibly. And a Patriots defense that leads the league
I want to go off that.
in points or takeaways or whatever the stat may be is exactly why the Patriots are sitting nice at 8-1 and have only lost to one playoff / Super Bowl contending team.
The
But-
thing is with Tom Brady, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it.
Correct.
In my opinion, I think he is the best. I'm a Patriots fan. Take it how you want, but he is not doing Tom Brady things this season. He is getting the job done, but his defense is just there to backpack him. Like, look at their stats. They have more touchdowns, just the
Jets.
defense, than most NFL teams as a whole, which is
That's insane.
which is a ridiculous stat. To where Tom Brady is maybe a couple touchdowns here and there, but it's not Tom Brady stats. They don't have the Gronkowski. They don't have the Josh Gordon when he's healthy. They have Julian Edelman, Philip Dorsett. They have Philip Dorsett. He's not out there, but he gets the job done. Edelman gets the job done, but they don't have those key players anymore.
I think their running backs right now are the focal point of offense. You know?
Exactly,
they can pretty much do everything. They can catch, which a Patriot back normally does.
This is like I would honestly say one of the deepest running back
cores we've had in a while, other than the Falcons Super Bowl game.
Yeah, we have 3 really good.
And that's
4.
what Burkhead not really playing.
Yeah, Burkhead hasn't really been playing.
A 4 deep running back spot
That could play wide receiver and
all except for
running
really
back.
Burkhead.
Yeah.
But to touch back on the Cowboys, just to correct us because we were wrong.
Yeah.
Their schedule goes Lions.
Hold on. I think they lose that game, but
So that's fine. I think that's a contending game, so it could go either way. Goes Lions, Patriots. Can kind of write that one off. Bills.
That could go either way.
I think they lose. They lose to the Jets. They lose to the Bills.
Then they got the Bears. Mitchell Trubisky is an underwhelming quarterback.
They beat the Bears.
I think they come
because
out
the
and beat the
defense can
Bears.
only do so much.
If the defense could just
if they're
pressure
on,
Dak though.
No, if the defense is on every 5 minutes, they're going to get tired.
Oh yeah.
And then it goes to the Rams, which we just spoke on. I think
that one's going to be
I think that's
the
just
most
a
important.
competition of mediocre quarterbacks.
I think it's just who comes down to as a better coaching team, and I think that's the Rams.
I would say underperforming
that's
quarterbacks.
their second most important game, that and the Bills one.
Yep. And then it goes Eagles to Redskins. Eagles, we said, could go either way.
I think
They're both sitting at the same spot. You thought they could win. We already talked about that. And then the Redskins, we pretty much agreed that was a win.
So I see 8-8.
That's where it comes out to 8-8. But like I said, there was 2 games that I really saw there that could go either way.
Lions, Bills, and maybe the Rams. I think those 3 are the most important ones.
No,
And
Lions, Eagles, and Rams, I said, were games that could go either way.
No, I think the Eagles are going to beat them. I just think the Bills one is more.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Eagles one's the most important one because if you win that
It's
one and
division.
both 8-8, then
Who won the first time they met?
I have no idea.
I'll look that up. Sorry, I
Could have
put it down on
been.
my phone. The Cowboys won that the first
Yeah.
time.
So they need to win that one.
So if they win that one, they pretty much guarantee their division, unless the
Mhm.
Eagles win
Unless
out. Other
if
than that.
that's their only game they won in the next.
Yeah. So they need to lose out, win that game, which is most likely not going to happen. Or the Eagles need to lose out.
If it comes down to the Eagles having to lose games, they're not going to get in. Like, you know what I mean?
You can't bank. Yeah, it's like that in any sport. You never want to have to bank.
Like
if
baseball.
you have to assume.
Baseball's very crucial with
Yeah.
that. You have to have teams lose games, and it's like, all right, well, GG's.
Yeah, if your playoff contention banks on another team, build up for next year.
It's very little probability.
And then, especially if you're in that situation, you're not a competitive team anyway. So you're going to expect to get to the playoffs and go where? Because
You
the Eagles lost last week, you're in the playoffs. You really going to go beat Russell Wilson? You really going to go compete with anybody else?
Anybody else that's not the Eagles. But yeah, so I mean, take it out it is with the Rams. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs because they're in the best division of football. You know, even if the Cardinals went out, they're considered in the hunt because they only have 6 losses. Other than that, you know, the NFC's shaping kind of up. The Panthers, I don't think are gonna make it. No one's beating the Vikings or Seahawks at this point, unless if the Saints just flop really hard, which I doubt.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I think the AFC is more competitive at this point to where the NFC you got your 6 teams, like Andrew mentioned.
Yeah, NFC, you really see your 6 teams already. You got pretty much clear-cut division winners.
Same thing like the East in basketball. You have your 6 teams that are most likely going to make it.
And then you got like a flex 4.
Yeah.
Just want to say, 76ers won
Hey.
by 1 goddamn point.
Wow. You said the Cavs are going to win?
97.
That's okay.
Wow.
Wow, that was close. Too close.
They were up at a
Half
couple minutes
minutes
left, yeah.
All right.
Yikes.
So, the West the Raiders might sneak in, you know. The Bills could drop. The Colts and Titans are right there. You know, the Jaguars are technically still in it. They're the next team with an H on their name. I don't know. You can. It's really the Patriots, Chiefs, Ravens, and
It's all a matter of who pulls wild card spot. You got your division winners, and then whoever pulls wild. But they're gonna get bounced. Barring a major upset where you'd make astronomical money betting on that wild card, I think they get bounced.
Last year, for example, and the year before that, the Chiefs where when the Chiefs had Alex Smith their last year with him, they were a wild card and they won their game.
I think whoever comes out of the South as a wild card is the only potential winner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if there's a dark horse to who do you think like
Texans or
wins
Colts?
out? It's either the Texans or Colts that are gonna.
Mhm.
So if we look at the NFC, right, teams that don't have a P, but teams have an H or not, who's most likely to win? Most likely win out, and might make the playoffs as a wild card. Teams without P's or a star.
So teams without the P's of the H.
You can talk about the H's if you want, because technically they're in the hunt. They're not in the playoff picture. But what's the team that sticks out to you that could win out and make the playoffs?
Vikings.
Well, no,
No
they're in the
P's.
playoffs.
Oh, I thought. Ooh, my fault.
I think if the Lions win out and they beat whoever they have to in their division on their path to winning out, they could be. Matt Stafford is such an underrated
you
quarterback.
think
in my
3
eyes.
teams from that division makes the playoffs?
Yeah,
That's
it's happened
ridiculous.
before.
It
It's
has
before.
happened before. Don't
But
get us wrong.
If I had to pick a team, the gunslinger that Matt Stafford is, and with Matt Patricia as that coach, could be something. And yeah, they're at a 3-5-1. That could be better.
that tie helps them at the end,
But that tie is going to benefit, like you just said, that
Yeah.
tie is going to benefit them heavily in the long run.
'Cause it's
'Cause
not
that's
another
one less
loss.
loss. So if they come out, they play. Boy, how many games do they have left? They're at 9 games, so they got 9 games left.
This is like one of the closest.
this is a very competitive NFC when you're not in, like, if you're not in the playoff picture. You know what I mean? Like,
Like almost
Everybody but the
everyone-
Giants and the Redskins.
Yeah.
Giants, Redskins, and Falcons are really only the.
I wouldn't even say the Bucks, but if you're not them, everybody else has a chance to make it into
if
the playoffs.
they win out. If they
Yes.
win out. Like, the Falcons definitely not. Redskins aren't. Giants aren't. I mean, since they're in the NFC East, they technically could. Like, the Giants went out and the Eagles and Cowboys managed to mess it up. So I wouldn't mark
So
them out
when
just
the-
yet.
they're-
But I know I know that's crazy bold, but I do agree with you. I think the
I'd
one
say
team
it.
that's a dark horse that could make the playoffs that isn't technically in the picture now is Lions.
That's because their
They're
defense is
well-coached.
solid. It's not terrible. Well coached, defensive minded. He was the defensive
we know
coordinator
they
under
can win games.
Belichick.
They compete every week. It seems like so.
Yeah, and they're that low because of how tough that division is. They've already played the Packers, the Vikings, and the Bears at least once apiece. I don't
All
know
very
their
tough
exact
could make
schedule.
playoff teams.
And I mean, it is what it is. But at that point, I mean,
All right, so Andrew and I are going with Lions. Who's your dark horse that can make the playoffs?
It is hard for me to say. I mean, I honestly would like to say the Rams, just due to the fact that they have talent. Like, they have a wide receiver core that could help Jared Goff pick defenses and pick apart zones. But, I mean, it's just hard to say. Like, I'll go with the Lions just because, like, I like what you guys say. Matt Patricia was a good coach.
He's turning
when
into a
in-
good hire at this point.
He is showing his worth. And other than that, I don't really see other teams possibly making it in. Just from, like, what we see in the standings right now, I don't see anybody else actually.
Like that
Fighting
has
for
a
it.
chance to
Yeah.
push. So that last week playoff push. All right, I'm gonna ask the same thing for the AFC. So if you guys want to look, I already have my team, but
Yeah,
Alright,
I'll
go
go with
ahead,
Lions
Nick.
as well. Like you said,
all right,
it's a
if they make the playoffs,
defensive based team, and you know, I thought the Lions honestly were gonna, you know, pick up a little bit of slack. I thought they were gonna be one of the better
I
teams.
think with the Bears benching
Mhm.
Trubisky or like around there, the Bears have more chances of losing now. So at least
Yeah,
the
so
Lions
I
could
thought
move
they were
up.
at least gonna be, because
I do
either
like
way,
Matt
the
Stafford.
Packers and the Vikings, you
I
know,
do.
they're
I
gonna be
think
the
it's
1 and 2
underrated.
seed. Like they're gonna be in that North. But I thought at least the Lions and we're gonna be on top of the Bears and either be tied with one of the second place spots. So right now, you know, if the Lions had a better record, I thought they would at least run their money with the Vikings or just have one more loss.
Drew,
AFC.
AFC. I already have my team. I've had this team for weeks now.
This isn't my. This isn't my team that I'm saying watch out for. I'm just saying. The Titans kind of put themselves on the map in the past couple weeks.
Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill is an amazing quarterback. Not amazing.
I
but
feel bad
for
for
what he's doing after what he's been through.
Yeah.
It's a journey that you kind of
Respect.
look at and you're like, this guy's tough. This guy's dedicated to being in the NFL.
To playing.
But like to go through what he did, all the knee injuries, the ankle, the back, or whatever it was, and whenever it was, to be on a team now where you just took the starting spot from another young quarterback. It's I like to see that. I like to see the competitive nature in guys like that. But my pick for somebody that could win out and could make the playoffs is the Raiders.
High five. That was my team.
I
That's
do-
been my team for 2 weeks now.
I love
What they
Derek
bring.
Carr, and I love the
John
the
Gruden hire
black and silver,
isn't looking
the
that
tone that they set. And Gruden at the head coach was questionable when he made the trades and all that stuff, but
Now it's paying off
he's a
with the rookies they
solidified
got.
good coach. He it's almost to the point where he can do no wrong. They've
I
got a
think-
winning record.
I do believe Derek Carr is putting up career numbers this year.
Yeah, but
And I've heard Colin Cowherd talk time and time and again with the Raiders, and I finally got to watch the Chargers game, and the Chargers aren't as what they have been in the past, but this Raiders team is something not to take lightly.
But this is also, from my perspective, barring some crazy draft move that they make or crazy trade, this is to the point where that Raiders team is starting to close their Derek Carr window. Derek Carr is still pretty young, fairly young, but the years where he's going to be on the incline and showing more and more potential like he is, like Elliot said, more career numbers, is not going to keep happening. He's been getting better and better, and we've seen that.
Ever since the broken leg, yes.
But I feel like he's going to start to hit that cap, which isn't a bad thing, but you're going to stop
As long
seeing...
as it's high enough to where...
Yeah, but you're going to stop seeing him be able to put the team on his back like he has done in the past.
I think my question to you is now, when do you draft a quarterback?
I think...
Like, you don't risk a first-round pick for him.
No.
Because they drafted a running back, they drafted secondary pieces in the past draft, and I do what you mean. The team around him is getting younger, and
Yep.
quarterbacks tend to last longer due to the way the rules are. But when are you drafting a quarterback? Like, how far in the future?
If
Like
I'm a
4 or
GM or
5
if I'm the
years?
coach,
Yeah.
I say if we put another star on offense.
Mhm. Which Josh
So-
Jacobs, the running back.
So,
has
that's
been.
what I'm saying. You add another.
Oh,
You need a receiver. You need a big solidified receiver.
Yep.
So either a rookie that can show up, kind of like Juju did when AB left, in that type of situation. I'm not saying he's better.
Yep.
Or like an Odell in his first few years, or a Julio in
Or
his first
you need
years.
to draft a young guy who can produce.
Who can
now.
produce. Almost like a similar situation to the NBA where it's a win now. You pick up a young guy that's going to win you games,
Yep.
and you put him in rotate, whatever.
Yep.
But if you add this draft, which is a good quarterback draft, Hurts, Tua, Burrow.
This wide receiver though,
And-
the wide
but
receivers.
This is a good wide receiver year as well. There's a lot of
I
guys
say
coming
go
out.
Get one.
I say they go get a receiver in either the first or second round, a good receiver, and then they put pieces on defense because Gruden can mold the defense to what he wants.
Yeah, he did
so
that
you
with
put
the Bucks,
pieces.
and he did the first stint with the Raiders.
But if in 3 to 4 years you don't see a deep playoff run, or even potentially I may say a Super Bowl, you draft a quarterback if there's a good class.
You don't start
within-
the quarterback right away. You
Yeah.
ease it into him because in 3 or 4 years or 4 or 5, I'm saying it's 5 max.
That's
know,
what I was
and
gonna say.
fifth year.
A 3 to 5 gap,
Yeah,
a 3 to 5 window.
I
of good
think
quarterback
3 is
class.
like okay, panic buying, but 5 years it's like okay, now it's
Okay,
time
switch
to
it up.
transition because John Gruden's there for another 8 years.
Yeah.
My thing is just like I'm gonna go slightly off topic. Like they're trying to find pieces, but you might have to draft their pieces instead of trading for your pieces. Like look
Yeah.
at the Browns. The Browns, like, you look at them and like they're chart for wide
They're a
receiver
great
core
Madden team.
is insane. You got Odell and Jarvis Landry on the same team, but aren't doing much.
Yes, I see. You're saying that they shouldn't sign free agency because of the scare that it might not work
Yeah,
out.
most of the time, like
Especially-
not most of the time, but like this time, a lot of the free agents aren't really producing. Like the big names,
Yeah,
it's not really producing. So I think what you do is just
On the
you gotta-
offensive end.
on the offensive end, you gotta wait a little bit. You gotta wait a couple of years before you actually make a bold move. Or me, I'm not a huge fan of Derek Carr. Like he's not bad. He could get the job done. He
I
could
think
get
if he
you
doesn't
crucial
break
Pro Bowl
his
wins.
leg,
quarterback.
I think if he doesn't break his leg, he's a way better than he is now. But when you break your leg, you progress, and then you gotta get back to where you were.
Yeah, my thing is just I would rock this year out. I would give it one more year and then try and get a early mid round pick, like 2 of them for Derek Carr, and try and go out after a quarterback in like 3 years.
You're giving it 2 to 3 years.
2 or 3 years, like if he plateaus, because
Okay,
right now he's looking really
So
good.
you're hitting the panic button 2 seasons from now if it gets to that bad.
If it
If
gets
he's
to,
not still on an incline.
if he's not inclining steadily, like slowly but steadily is fine. But if he just hits that plateau for a season, you kind of have to worry about it a little bit because it took him so long to finally get back to where he is
yeah.
and where he could have been. It's a little scary.
I mean, like Drew said, he's still a Pro Bowler, but
yeah,
that doesn't.
but you look
Trubisky
at
was a
Pro
Pro Bowler,
Bowlers and rings.
So
Pro Bowl
you
was
look at Phil
Trubisky
Rivers.
was a sub.
Yes.
Trubisky
but
was a backup. I
the
don't.
fact is
That,
that people advocate for him, say that he was a Pro Bowler. I'm just saying that. I don't think
we
it
know
means
somebody
as
that
much.
does that.
Yep, not saying that. No, all right. So
But real quick, like Phil
You're right.
Rivers is a Pro Bowl quarterback, but he, like
it doesn't
Derek-
translate to rings like that.
Yeah.
no, but
Pro
he's a
Bowl
Pro
doesn't mean
Bowler
rings.
quarterback, but he just doesn't have the pieces. They're trying to find the pieces but they can't correlate.
Yeah, he's like the AI or the Charles Barkley of football.
Yeah, so like
no
if,
rings, but
if
a
you go
Hall of
after
Famer.
if you go after one specific person, you're not gonna see really an incline because it's like, oh, we got this one star, so let's work him into it. I say just a couple of mid type players into the program and actually get them like young and able to comprehend like everything new.
Right, so what else do you want to touch on?
I think what you said before last episode, since we have another person here, our athlete of the week,
Mhm.
right? I don't know
Who's our freak of the week?
Who's our freak of the week? That is our title. It could be any sport, any player. Keep it in an active sport. You could go with a baseball player. And we are 2 for 2 on prediction for awards right now. We got P. Alonso and I forgot how to say his name. Alvarez from the Astros, by the way.
We are 2 for 2. Just throwing that out there. So hit a like and subscribe.
There you go. So, who is our athlete of the week?
Can I pick 2 for
Nope,
like
gotta be one.
one's like
No,
No, it's got to be one. One guy that's
That's the whole point of
phenomenal.
this.
Russell
Alright.
Wilson.
There you go.
Freak of the week for him is Russell Wilson. Mine?
Mhm.
That's my MVP. Lamar Jackson.
Freak of the week. Free Wednesday here. I know you're gonna say some dumb stuff.
I was gonna say something stupid. You want to hear? I was gonna say Gordon Hayward fucking got hurt again. On how much money you're making? You're doing stupid stuff. Anyways, I have to give it to Lamar Jackson.
Lamar.
Lamar.
I like that. When we address him, it's Lamar.
We got fancy with
Freak
it.
of the week.
Lamar.
Lamar Jackson.
There we go.
So
3 Lamars, one Russ. But at the end of the season, I'm going with Nick here. MVP. But
Fuck.
this week, Freak of the Week.
He's
Freak of
a
the
freak of
week's
the freaking
month.
year.
So we're not saying you ought to award Lamar. Sorry, we have a low budget, or actually no budget. But any last words, guys, you want to say before we end it?
We got our boy here, Nick, who put us on to an amazing barber out here in Connecticut. That's where we're out of. And Nick could touch on that a little bit.
Go ahead, Nick.
If you're from Connecticut, anywhere near Sullyton or Plainville, get the Cut app. Rich Gonzalez, he'll give you a slice for the price.
We've all gone to him, and I have done nothing but I've been satisfied every time I've gotten a haircut.
Great guy.
Shout out Rich the barber. Great guy, great environment. If you're in Connecticut, find your way to Plainville.
Even if you're not, if you're in Mass, make the drive. I think
And
it's
then
worth it.
if you want to know where he is, they'll type E down low.
Okay.
yeah, that.
comments.
I don't
So-
know what that means.
We'll get a
In the comics.
in the
So-
comment section.
So
disregard, but download the Cut app. Download the Cut. Search Rich Gonzalez. He's got
It's worth
appointments.
it.
It's worth your time. Shout out
Worth
him.
the drive.
Much-
We drive 35 minutes, and then there's a
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A down the road.
Chick-fil-A in the area.
Chick-fil-A's overrated.
And BBQ Mission BBQ.
National Barbecue there too. As
And
well.
there is a smash burger if you do enjoy that.
That's just our boring take on Connecticut.
Yep.
But-
But other than that, thank you guys for listening.
Great
I know
episode.
it was kind of a longer one, but this is the way it's gonna go now. Anyone else want to last minute note?
Trust the process.
Get rid of Gordon.
Brownies.
Lake Show, baby. Lake Show.
Brownies to do something, man.